four-wheel drive, turbocharged. There's only two racing in the world, and they're both here in South Africa. 500 horsepower, they've got a top speed of over 270 kilometers an hour. Won Class A last year in the hands of Sarel van der Merwe, now also been driven the Basel Audi by Chris Aberdeen.
I think it's a very busy little track, as you saw with the lap times, it's well under a minute. And I have about 18 to 20 gear changes a lap, so it keeps you busy all the time.
And you get into flat out into top gear?
Yes, funny enough, the straight down here is about as quick as Kai's Lama straight, surprisingly so. But another problem, of course, is overtaking. It's very narrow, and I think it's going to be very difficult to get by anybody. If you into the first corner first, I think you've got a good chance of winning the race.
And speeds?
Well, like I said, it's about the same speed as Kai's Lama. I would imagine it's about 240 in that region at the end. Willie's probably a bit quicker down there. But a few dangerous corners. You have to watch it all the time. The one down past the screen is like three corners in one. So you have to really set the car up well. And then it goes from that very high-speed corner to a very slow-speed second-gear corner at the hairpin at the beginning of the straight. So there's a bit of everything.
Without doubt, the car and driver combination that thrills crowds at race circuits all over the country is South Africa's Mr. V8, Willie Hepburn, and his big Opel V8 record. It's got an American NASCAR saloon car racing engine, pushes out Grand Prix horsepower, and has a top speed of 280 kilometers an hour. Everybody loves Willie Hepburn. The only other team using turbocharged engine are the Sasol Ford Sapphires, now setting up lap records and winning races all over the country. It shows what South African ingenuity can do. The chassis built in South Africa, a lot of the development work and rebuilding of the engine is done right here in South Africa. Even the fuel, the Sasol fuel, has been developed for the turbocharged Cosworth engine in this country. And in front of the biggest crowd to have ever packed the Zwartkops Raceway, these are the cars they'd come to see on pole position. The Sasol Ford Sapphire to Graham Duxbury. He's got the advantage away from the line and dictates the speed as he goes into the front. They're followed by Sarel van der Merwe. We're in with Aberdeen there as we go into Continental Corner on the first two. It's the Ford leading the four-wheel drive Audi Turbo. We're in with Aberdeen as Willie Hepburn just sweeps across his bows and puts that V8 power on the road. And the lead is the Sasol Ford Sapphire, being worried all the way there by Sarel van der Merwe. In with a 650 horsepower Opel V8 record. The blue flags are out to tell the drivers we want past. It's Aberdeen and it's Willie Hepburn in the Opel are having the dice of the day as they're going to Continental Corner. Aberdeen worrying him all the way, gives him a little nudge to remind him, but Willie slows him up and then starts to pour on that power, going through the six-speed gearbox. The popping and squeaking of the Audi ahead of him, that thundering NASCAR engine is giving it its all. Up to 250, 260, down to the suicide 50-meter braking marks. They go down there. Willie gets the car sideways. It starts to oversteer. Then it understeers as it comes up the Champion Hill to Basel Corner. He's been worried all the time there by Chris Aberdeen that yellow Opel is looking oh so wide to Aberdeen. He just can't find a way through. And Sarel van der Merwe's got his own problems. Graham Duxbury's beaten the lap record by 1.5 seconds now. There's Ben Morganrood just behind this Dyson pair. Morganrood's in the Autofit Mazda as they go into Continental Corner. And Aberdeen is getting the message over to Willie Hepburn. Willie, I want past, but Willie slows him down and then powers on that V8 on the road and uses a bit of dirt as well. In Class B, 3.5 litre motor cars. The turn up for the books. Gary Dunkley in the Sabat Porsche has found another 11 kilowatts, and there's nothing that Johan could see, the Wesbank champion in that Gearmax Skyline, can do about it. Dunkley's starting to power it away in one of his greatest drives that he's ever had in a Class B Wesbank modified saloon. And it's Dunkley the whole way. But now we're coming up to the end of the race. We're in with Duxbury. Clive Rice is just ahead of him. He's had to slow down for Rice. He's gone off the power band and coming through. There's Sarel van der Merwe. He takes his chances. You don't give van der Merwe a second chance here. He gets through. He's now a second ahead as they go into the final stages of this race into Continental Corner. Paddy driving the silencer service. Mazda's just ahead. Look at the power of that Audi. He's got it up to 2.8 bars. It's revving to 8,000 as it tears away down Altamore Straight. They're 240, 250. We're in there with the Ford. There's nothing you can do about it. We're on the last two as they go down to the screen, onto the brake marks. That four-wheel drive just pulls it through there. Bad bump in the middle of the 40. You hit it just there as he powers it up the Champion Hill into Basel. It's just a second. It's under a second, in fact. A record lap has gone to Graham Duxbury, but Sarel van der Merwe is going to take the checkered flag. He's through Autoclip on the last tour. Up the Michelin Straight. He comes to get the flag from Stan Levine. So it's Sarel van der Merwe winning it and turning the tables on the Ford. It won down at Welkom. Duxbury 1.5 seconds under Van der Merwe's 1-year-old lap record in second spot. Willie Hepburn third, just ahead of Chris